Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Independent Street Tarot and Seasons Ritual, and we are going to talk about this beautiful dark moon in Aquarius that's happening tomorrow, January 29th. It should be exact at 6:30, around 6:30 Central Standard Time. It will be at 9 degrees of Aquarius in like 52 minutes. So most people just round up to 10 degrees of Aquarius, which I think is so beautiful because the numerology that brings us to the number one, which is beginning. It is the magician and the tarot. We are in the first month of the year. So it's really important to stress all these beginnings that are happening, right? And stress that Aquarius is this young energy in its young energy in its vitality. It doesn't mean it's an immature energy. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Aquarius is the cosmos, right? Uranus is the sky god. So Aquarius has two rulers, Saturn and which was its ancient ruler, and Uranus, which is its current ruler. So it's important to see everything that it embodies. It's known as the water bearer, which I also think is really important because right now we have a stellium in Pisces, which just means there's three or more planets in the sign of Pisces. But we also have a stellium in Aquarius right now. So we have the sun and the moon. We have Pluto, who's going to be in there for 19 years, just moved in. And then we also have Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication, and Mercury rules Gemini. And the good news is the sun and the moon are actually in a trine with Jupiter, who is in Gemini. And we can't dismiss the importance of Gemini and Jupiter. When Mercury was retrograde, it was retrograde in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter is that planet of gifts, gifts, luck, faith, expansion. And Mercury wants to talk these things out. Gemini is the twins. Gemini is also an air sign. And in the idea of air, I always say idea, because I guess that's just the easiest for me, but the idea of air, but it's also the energy of air. It is energy. And so going back to Aquarius, who's fixed air, and has Pluto in it, right? Transmuting what we used to think of air, how we work with air, but mainly also transmuting where the air was stagnant, where there was no fresh air, right? We're bringing in all this fresh air. And this is a really important time for you to remember that because what's happening on the world stage is we see all the stagnant, gross, old air, especially here in America. It stinks, quite honestly. It stinks. So and look, and we can all have different opinions when it comes to political stuff and all this. At the same time, it goes beyond where people are just grossly unqualified for the jobs that they are getting, right? And it goes beyond it's clearing out that old air, that old idea, right? Of, well, you're my friend or you're my friend's son or daughter, so you can have this job. While other people who are rightly so qualified just get passed over and on and on and on. So, not to go too far down that rabbit hole, but that is everything that we're seeing, right? This trine with Jupiter, which is expanding, how we see people speaking out of both sides of their mouths in Gemini, right? Gemini is the twins. And Gemini to me represents the end of duality. And that idea goes with you treat people really how you want to be treated. So if you keep treating people kindly, with compassion, with respect, and they pay that for you forward, then that gets us out of duality, quite honestly. And I heard that idea from a Buddhist monk on YouTube, so it stuck with me. Okay, let's keep going here. There was a couple of things that I wanted to um, discuss with this dark moon. As for me, the dark moons are always a time of quiet, a time where we can sit and reflect. The dark moon is when the sun and the moon are together, so our masculine and feminine are together, and that is when we're in the void. And from that void does come creation. To me personally, if you don't have something you want to work on, everyone's always like plant that seed on the dark moon. To me, the dark moon where there's no moon is not that time to plant that seed. It's just that time to rest. And then when the moon starts to crest, that is the time of the new moon, and that is the time to plant the seed. Um, because we do need that time of rest and reflection. I was talking to I had a session today and she was talking about how important rest is, because we do feel renourished and rejuvenated, and when we're not, we're burned out, right? So it's important, especially in this time that we're in, to get this rest because we don't want to be burned out. We don't want to feel exhausted, which can come very easily if we're trying to keep up with a narcissistic sort of energy that seems to be on the planet right now. The idea is that we go back into ourselves. Aquarius is the self, right? And then the collective. Aquarius celebrates uniqueness. Aquarius celebrates freedom, truth. Um, and we find that in others when we find that in ourselves. When we're able to live our truths, we start to vibrate at a different level, and then we can find those truths in others. So we are on, I don't even think we're on the prefaces anymore. I mean, we're in it to be in this idea of the age of Aquarius and moving into how we come into the way we think, the way we talk, the way we interact differently. And it is still leaving behind that age of Pisces. I do think that's we're still just kind of fleshing out those energies, especially with those 4 planets in Pisces. Um, Aquarius being known as the water bearer, I think is really important because most people think Aquarius is a water sign when she is in fact a air sign. You know, what all life comes from water. And so we are in this time of processing and birthing new life. And at this time, because we are meeting it in this age of Aquarius, it is through this energy of vibration. So, you know, she's like the symbol of Aquarius is those squiggly lines, and so you could think it's water, but it's energy, it's air, right? And this is important to remember because right now Mars is out of bounds in Cancer. So Mars is in a water sign. Mars also used to be ruled by Mars used to rule Scorpio. So Mars being in Cancer to me is not the worst or the weirdest, or he doesn't know what to do, because he used to rule fixed water. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt if people are freaking out because he's in Cancer. But he is out of bounds, so he's out of his regular elliptical orbit. And I think this is important in this time because we are learning how to move forward that movement in a different way. It is not going to just be fiery aggression. It doesn't mean that we won't get, you know, fired up. We're still humans on a 3D level, but it means the way that we decide to meet the challenges aren't going to look like how we used to meet the challenges, especially when Pluto was in Capricorn, because Capricorn is Earth, Capricorn is work, Capricorn wanted to know how we were going to get things done. And what's interesting is with Capricorn, has said, so long, Pluto. Capricorn to me is leaning more into the sea of the sea goat. Mars is now in water. Pluto is now in air. We have the shit hitting the fan right here in America. And it's like, how are we going to combat this? How are we going to move forward? Like, you know, where are the answers? And so we're in this time where things are kind of just shaking out a little bit. Jupiter will turn direct on February 3rd and February 4th. That's when I think more answers are going to come in, or new ways of communicating these, or not maybe new ways, but different ways of communicating these answers are going to come in. So I just want everyone to take a breath, you know, don't worry, like, whoa, 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 what are we doing? We are figuring things out. The other thing I want to say is that Uranus turns direct, I think, on the 30th, right? So in a couple days, we're already feeling that. Uranus rules Aquarius. And every time people talk about Uranus, it's always like shock, awe, you know, all these things. And one of the words they don't ever say is spontaneity. Aquarians are extremely spontaneous, okay? And so, and sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, I guess, so when Uranus turns direct here in, 24 hours plus, things will start to take off, right? Things will start to move pretty quickly because it is this idea of spontaneity. So it's okay right now to be in rest. Okay. It's okay to understand that, oh shit, all these aha moments are going to come in. That's how we're going to combat different things in the Tarot. That Knight of Swords, he's really fast, right? He gets it. But the Knight of Swords is rushing in because it's that spontaneous idea. He knows what to do on the battlefield. Okay. And it doesn't mean like we don't make plans or, we don't stick to lists or anything like that. But it is this idea of understanding being connected to the cosmos, which we all are. So, especially in this time of Aquarius, you guys be connected to the cosmos and allowing those new ideas to come in, allowing those aha moments to come into your life, understanding you can talk about things differently in order to make a different point, right? And it isn't this idea of constantly reacting what's going on in front of you, but you can read the room and you can change course and you can make a different decision. That to me is also this energy of Aquarius. That is also this energy of Uranus getting ready to turn direct. What was interesting was the other day I was on a phone call with one of my teachers who lives in Massachusetts, and she goes, "Oh my God, we're having an earthquake right now." And I go, "Oh, okay." I said, "Are you okay? You want to get off the phone?" She's like, "Nope." "Oh, okay, there it goes again." And they say when Uranus stations and moves, it often causes earthquakes. So there you go. Okay. Um, let's see what else we want to talk about with this dark moon in Aquarius. Um, mm. So the dark moon in Aquarius, as an Aquarius season, it is this idea, it is this deep sense of knowing what we need to do, because again, Aquarius rules the individual. With Pluto in there, right? It's bringing up um, maybe things that we kept down or we didn't feel comfortable expressing or felt comfortable showing up as. Um, but now we're getting used to that. We're getting used to this sense of authenticity. Mercury it's going to be at 2 degrees, and then Mercury moves fast, so it sat with Pluto, right? It was like, hey girl, how you liking Aquarius? You moving in? Got 19 more years here. Is there anything you want me to tell the sun and the moon when I go see them? And Pluto's like, yeah, actually there is. So allow this information to come in this next couple days, right? Because Mercury's got to catch up with the moon and then got to catch up with the sun. Again, this time of rest, this time of knowing, it's important to go with the self. It's also important to understand, because Aquarius is energy. Aquarius is a masculine sign, which is movement. And again, all signs do have that balance of feminine and masculine. I think that's why we have her always the water bearer, right? It's a woman. Um, but the way that we move forward and we combat things is going to be different than the past 18 years with Pluto and Capricorn, because Capricorn was going to want to know exactly how. And with Pluto and Aquarius, it's just knowing that this is what we're going to do. And then the way it unfolds may be a lot more spontaneous than before. And that's all right, right? That's all right. Remember, Aquarius's ancient ruler, Saturn, is in Pisces, right? And Saturn likes boundaries. Saturn likes to have structure, right? And so with Saturn in Pisces, it is having that structure to letting go. It is having structure to that higher sense of self. It is helping us understand how we can be in the ethers, how we can bring in the cosmos while still letting go of that 3D Earth, right? That's Capricorn. Capricorn is Earth. So we are in this time of shift and in change. It is, timelines collapsing. It is just important I think, to understand with this dark moon, to really, really get a deep sense of knowing that the way we combat things isn't going to be like how we used to. It doesn't mean that there might still be tones of it, right? But it is important to see that we really have to get into this, like, how do I feel about this? Like, um, what should I do right now? We've been trying to practice like be in the present, be in the present, be in the present, because now it is so important to be in the present. Because we are pulling in information from the cosmos. We are understanding the way things vibe, and what's going on is a really low vibration, and we're getting out of it. Um, and we're getting out of it because we understand personally we want to get out of it. Therefore, we start to connect with others. Okay. So when you guys are listening to YouTube channels or anything on social media and it's not sitting right, you guys trust that. You've got to trust those things because this is the time that we're in. And there's nothing that can make you not trust yourself. You just always tell yourself, I have free will. I trust my guides and angels or lamps or science or dogs or cats, whatever you guys believe in. But the fact that you just tell yourself, I trust myself, I trust myself. I trust the truth. I believe in the truth. Um, or, I believe in what is right and just for me and for others will be shown, and what isn't will also be shown. So you know the difference. This isn't the time to freak out, right? But I was saying this to Sheila the other day. There was a reason why we chose to be on the planet at this time, while others chose to be on the planet at this time. In and in because we're all learning something. Did I want to learn maybe something a little more fun times? Sure. But this is where we're at. Okay. And it's important, if you can't hold space, to allow others to hold that space, right? Because it's energy. It's not stagnant. It's not still. It's air. It's always moving. It is fixed air. It is a stronger vibration, the fixed signs, right? Hold up the zodiac, and we're bringing in this new energy. That's why Uranus had to go through Taurus, right? Still in Taurus. It was crumbling fixed earth, right? It was crumbling um, Pluto in Capricorn, because we have to start over. We've turned over the fields. It's time for this new air to come in, this new energy. So let this new energy and let this new air come in, and I say don't, but try to get on your own rhythm. Try to understand where it is that you fit in and all this, because working with I don't know what the right word is. I guess old, stagnant, like that narcissistic, fascist energy, however you want to say it. Right? It goes really fast and it tries to wear things out. And if you're like, well, if I don't keep up with it, um, you know, how can I combat it? And the idea is you can, because you're tuned in to the bigger energy. You're tuned in to what it is that you need to tune into in order to combat what you want to combat, in order to stabilize your life. So if you guys are wondering, what do I need to look for with this dark moon in Aquarius? What is it that I need to allow to come in? It is just this understanding, or this knowing, because Aquarius does have a deep sense of self, right? That's why Aquarius loves for people to be themselves. They love for people to be unique, and they love for people to be authentic. Because it's Aquarius understands at a deep level that's who people are, and that's why we're here. And so it is important for you to just sit with that idea, even if it doesn't make sense or you don't know who you are right now. Because I do meet so many people that are just like, I don't know who I am right now, because these timelines are collapsing. And it's important just to ask yourself, who am I today? What is it that I need to do today? How can I show up authentically today? What is the energy that I'm feeling today? Aquarius also likes to keep things extremely simple, which is funny because, like, We love cosmos and the galaxies and apparently technology. I don't know about that one, but apparently technology. Um, but it's also keeping it really simple, right? I guess the idea of technology was to help keep things simple, but so keep things simple, right? What is it that I have to do today? How do I feel today? Where is my energy at? How can I, if something keeps coming up and you need to combat it, what's a different way of doing that? What's a different answer? Um, maybe you don't take things at face value, but you don't have to be scared about it. You just have to say, well, what sits with me and how I want to live and project, right? Because the communities will start to form, right? And they'll start to form a little more spontaneous than we think, right? Um, there will be offshoots, there will be things that happen. And there will be really good things, right? We have to remember the world has to stay in balance. And in order for that to happen, if you see a lot of bad stuff, there has to be good stuff, the same good stuff coming in. I'm sorry it's not reported on as much as the other stuff. Um, but people are taking a stand, right? That's that rebellion of Aquarius. People are taking a stand. And the stand and someone rebelling might look one way for them. You rebelling might is going to look different for you. So allow in the spirit of rebellion, allow in the spirit of spontaneity, allow in the spirit of just learning something new, being new, vibrating at a different level, right? Being okay to shut out the caca. There's so much communication going on right now, especially with Mercury in Aquarius, right? Especially with the sun and the moon in a trine to Gemini. I mean, a trine to Jupiter, who's in Gemini. And you know, Jupiter's retrograde right now. So it's kind of like that's regurgitating, speaking about everything that we knew was going to happen, right? And then he's going to turn direct. And that's when things are really going to get started, right? Especially, but tomorrow in the 30th, Uranus turns direct. Um, right. And Uranus is a big planet, so it's got a station and start to turn. And as it starts getting moving, Jupiter comes back in, right? Maybe I should go this way with my hand. I don't know. Jupiter comes back in, and then things are really going to get on track. Things are really going to start to make more sense. Things are really going to start moving forward for the better, if that is where you want to go, right? If you don't want to go for the better, you're going to see things moving forward for the worst because Jupiter's in Gemini. We have to pick a lane and we have to work with that lane. Okay. So if you want things to move for the best, you go in that lane. If you don't care, or if you're scared or you don't know what to do, just be okay with that, but look for what it is that you want to turn out for the best. I can't stress this enough. Aquarius is the self, right? This is our time to shine. This is our time to rise up. And just because you rise up doesn't necessarily mean you're like shooting things or anything like that, but it is your time. This is your time to shine. That's what I always tell people. You have this one wild life, and here we are, right? Are you going to be a good neighbor? Are you going to be a good steward? Are you going to be um, someone that leads by example? And even if that example is just holding the door open, saying hello, picking up the garbage on the street, it doesn't have to be something huge that sucks you of all your energy. And I mean, and you know what? Someone might, lead a new thing or that too, right? But this is Aquarius. It's you being you, in your best and most beautiful way. It's being spontaneous. It's about communication. It's about energy. It's about love. That stellium in Pisces with Neptune, North Node is now in there. Venus is in there. And that's the other thing. Thank you, Venus. That's Venus and Saturn. And so people are seeing this as unconditional love because I usually say this. So I actually, where is Venus right now? Because I think it's important to know where Venus is. And Venus is in Pisces. And Venus is moving in. She's almost in conjunction with Neptune, who rules Pisces, and that North Node who just got in there. And that North Node is what we're striving for. And that what we're striving for with Pisces, is being out of lower Pisces, right? Of addiction and illusion, and being in higher Pisces, which is the higher self, which is mysticism, which is letting things go. Like it's okay to let things go because it turns over and becomes something new, right? And so Venus is sitting in there with all these guys in Pisces and that water, right? Birthing this new way of being. Mars in Cancer, out of bounds, Cancer the womb, birthing this new way of combating things, fighting things. And then last and not least, our sweet, sweet Aquarius, who is air, but is known as the water bearer, birthing this new time on the planet. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. Welcome to this first dark moon with Pluto and Aquarius. Welcome to this beautiful age of Aquarius. If you guys would like to reach out, you can reach for me. I'm trying to figure out what to do with my social media, but I will be here. I'm also on Blue Sky if you guys want to find me over there. But please reach out if you guys want to meet up or not meet up, but have a session. And then also you can get in touch with me through my website. Okay, guys, I'll probably come on here back pretty soon because we have, let's see, Dark Moon, Uranus turning direct, Year of the Wood Snake, Imbolc. It's all happening. So you should see this space soon. Again, till then, have a beautiful, beautiful dark moon.